My name is Angel Munoz Avila, and here's how I learned how to play the harp. A common question I get asked is, how did you even pick up the harp? It seems like such an uncommon instrument, where does someone even buy one? Well, in my case, it started when I was 5. My grandpa had an Andean, or South American ethnic harp, which typically isn't used in classical Western music we hear, but it's used in countries like Ecuador, Paraguay, and many other South American countries for folk music. He used to play that music, and lullabies such as Twinkle Twinkle Little Star before I went to bed every night. I didn't ask to play right away because I was much smaller than the instrument, and I was too intimidated by it. But I used to pluck the strings aimlessly and pretend I knew how to play when I was younger. It wasn't until 3rd grade, when many of my classmates started learning how to play instruments, that I finally built up the courage to ask. Since harp was an uncommon instrument, the nearest harp teacher was 30 minutes away, and so it began my harp journey. At first, the biggest struggle was the type of harp I used, because it's not used in typical Western music. And so I started out on that and learned the basic techniques. Some of these basic techniques that I learned were closing my hands, how to tune the harp, and what note each string was. But to play the classical music that I wanted to learn how to play, I had to buy a harp called a lever harp, which is not the harp that I mainly use now, as you can see from the thumbnail of the video. But it's a good beginner harp, and it's a good size for somebody who's 9 years old or in the 3rd grade. I used my lever harp from about 3rd grade to 8th grade. Then I actually stopped playing the harp for 4 years. It wouldn't be until summer of senior year of high school when I started playing harp again. I went for a walk one day and I saw a guitarist at this coffee shop called the Coffee Box, and I decided to sit down and listen. And it really inspired me to play. I loved his energy, I loved the way people were listening to him, and I still loved music. I was doing music production at the time, so music was still in my heart. When I saw the way he looked free on stage and the way everybody loved him, at that moment, I realized I wanted to be a performer. That same day, I called up the coffee shop and I asked if I could perform. The next day, I hadn't played harp in, like I said, 4 years, so I had to relearn a bunch of songs, and I was a little nervous, but I made sure I learned as much songs as possible, some easy stuff, just so I could have something to play for an hour. And I ended up loving it. I fell in love, and so I was still playing the lever harp, but I knew that I wanted to take it further. So that's when I knew I wanted to do this in college and play the pedal harp eventually. And obviously, since it was the summer, I was looking at colleges to apply to, and I knew that I wanted to go to a college that had the harp. That's when I had to make my college decision, and I chose College of Staten Island because I really loved the harp teacher Chelsea Lane. Normally when applying for colleges as a harp student, or a music student in general, you want to get a trial lesson or a feel for what the teacher is like at the schools you're applying for. And in my case, I had 3 schools in mind, but 2 with harp teachers, or definite harp teachers I should say. So I'm not going to name the other school, but I really loved the professor at College of Staten Island. When I had my trial lesson, I feel like she had a lot to say, and she focused on a lot of details that I didn't even know could be possible in music, such as phrasing and certain techniques such as anticipating chords or starting early to catch beats at certain points. And that really impressed me, and that's why I chose her as my professor and still have her as a professor, and love taking lessons with her to this day. Fast forward to now, I'm still doing many things with the harp, and plan to do more for the future, such as teaching lessons, which I've done with an autistic student. I did orchestra, I'm doing ensemble in my school, performing at places like coffee shops, restaurants, and even a graduation with about like 1,000 people at one point. If you're interested in what this beat is in the background, the link is in the description. It's made by me, and anything else that's in the background of this video. My biggest goal now is to prep for the Ann Adams Harp Competition, which is a harp competition for college students at any level. It's a little scary, but I want to do well, and I'm willing to put in the work and see where it goes. Subscribe to hear about my journey as I practice for that, cover famous songs, and make beats with my harp. Link in the description to that video too. Thank you so much for watching. Any questions you have, leave comments below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.